Race 7 of the Hardline Midwest Powersource Cup Series heads to Lucas Oil Raceway in what used to be known as Indianapolis Raceway Park. With only 12 degrees of banking, this 7/10 of a mile short track is extremely unique. It's wide and flat, but the preferred racing line is right up against the wall. Double points are at stake tonight in a two-part race, 100 laps, caution, and another 100 laps. Time to go racing. Double points, Finian? I say double the fun.
Yeah, definitely. These guys got a lot to race for tonight. And also of note, too, is that because it's a double points race event, these guys go laps, a lap or two down in the first race. They'll be able to get their laps back for the second race and be able to compete. So everyone's got a good chance at being competitive tonight.
Absolutely, and not a huge field here tonight, Finian, so the points are going to mean that much more because the worst you can finish is going to be 13th this evening, and I think drivers are going to be extra aggressive knowing that even if they crash, it's not going to hurt them that much in the points. So I think all these drivers have to be aggressive tonight and go for it, especially with that chance for race number 2 after the 100-lap mark. Obviously, as soon as you cross lap 100, your position for race 1 has been solidified, and then there is a required pit stop to come down to pit lane. And then the running order after that pit stop will be the starting positions for race number 2 here tonight. So a unique format. It's going to be fun to watch. Let's take a look at our qualifying order as we take a look at Anthony DeFrenchi making his return in that number 44 car here this evening in that Ford Fusion.
Yeah, currently 8th on the grid as they run. So he's got a few tenths to find. But everyone right now is chasing Daniel Roper, who's the only driver to break under the 21-second marker.
Oh, and you see DeFrenchi just bounce off the wall here. We're going to see a ton of that here tonight, Finian. This track can be extremely treacherous. The walls are right up next to that racing groove. If we take a look, if we find Daniel Roper, I think she's pulling off the track. How about Thomas Bressi in that number 24 car? Let's just ride on board here for a lap with the Rainbow Warrior. Look at the line he takes all the way up against that outside lane above that white dotted line, Finian. That is way up there. Then you want to get that car road-headed down back to the bottom for the late apex. But again, entering up high and then towing that car down to the bottom for the exit.
Yeah, it's a very weird line here, and I actually think I can hear these guys downshifting too, trying to get the most power out of these things. So it's going to be very interesting racing because typically on ovals we see everyone migrate to the bottom line except for Darlington, but this place almost drives like Darlington with these guys next to the wall.
And you mentioned the downshifting. You're right, Finian. At least Bressi downshifted already once, and he's sitting in 3rd place. So you can bet the guys in front of him, Raul Alves and Daniel Roper, must be downshifting as well if they're running any faster. Obviously, these engines are pretty torquey here, Finian, but they have the most torque up right near the top of the RPM range, and that's why you want to wind them out.
Yeah, it's also a risk too, considering talking about how much torque these cars have. By downshifting, you're going to get a lot of wheel spin if you don't have your car pointed in the right direction or have enough grip to work with. So these guys also got to be careful of that as the night goes on.
Brandon Kreutz returning to hardline action in that number 93 car, currently 10th on the board. Raul Alves is pulling out of the pit lane right now in that number 30 car. Fast Track Sims on that right rear quarter panel as he leaves the pits. Try to get one more lap in here. And Corey Blevins in the 25 making his rounds right now, sitting 7th on the grid. This racetrack is well known for its past history in NASCAR here, Finian. Obviously not visited by NASCAR's main series anymore, but Hardline said, no, let's race here. And this is a great racetrack, Finian. Obviously, it's a really unique challenge because it's a short track that likes to be raced up high. And barring Bristol, there's not a lot of racetracks, or short tracks at least, that like that kind of action. Even Bristol didn't used to be like that.
Yeah, I was going to say only after Bristol's been modified about 10,000 times in the last few years. That we're seeing guys going up towards the top lane again. But yeah, typically you see guys run the bottom line. You kind of can use almost both lanes on this track here. So we might see that also some different lines being changed as the night goes on.
Absolutely. So qualifying is complete. Looks like Daniel Roper, the number 1, is going to be sitting on the pole, alongside Raul Alves in the number 30, and Bressi in the number 24 was our last winner at Watkins Glen a couple weeks ago and was uncontested there after the 41 wrecked out in the late going. And your phone's ringing. Grand Central Station. All right, as we get ready to go racing, it's 100 laps and then a 5-lap caution break and then another 100 laps. So it's a 2-race segment here tonight. So obviously double points on the line. So as you'll see the lap number up at the top when we go green, to lap 100 is our stopping point for that first race. So it's kind of a little bit of a mini race to that lap 100 marker, and you're going to bet that everyone's going to be super aggressive. And we've been told by race control that laps will be offered back if they're within a reasonable realm of getting some back. So if drivers are 2 or 3 laps down, they will be able to return to the lead lap segment for race number 2.
Yeah, and with all this talk about double points, let's actually go over the point standings as they run. After 6 rounds, Nick Massey is leading the points 2 points over Thomas Bressi, so very close up towards the top. Daniel Roper in 3rd, Tyler Hensley in 4th, Joshua Adams in 5th, rounding out your top 5.
Yeah, we have to take a look at our conditions here tonight, Finney, and obviously no track map here, so we're going to enjoy that nice big fat circle. But in Clermont here, take a look at the temperature, Finney, and it's pretty cool out here. 78 degrees in the air and 79 on the track. Partly cloudy conditions, but the interesting thing to note, Finney, is the time. The sun is setting, and you know what that means for grip levels.
Yeah, indeed. It's going to really only improve for these guys as the night goes on, so that's something that we're going to keep track of right now. So, actually, I mean, the track is pretty cool, but yeah, it can only get better from here on out.
Well, I think especially the visibility is going to get a little bit tricky. We've seen that with the iRacing day-to-night transitions. It gets pretty dark before those lights come on, so drivers have to be paying attention. Obviously, it's a small grid, so they can afford to take some risks, but you don't want to put yourself in a bad situation and get yourself out of the race early here tonight. You can see the sun setting over the grandstands there in the distance. The drag strip just off the... I believe that's a drag strip back there. And let's see if we can take a look at that. Yep, there it is. There's a drag strip just behind the grandstands there on the front straightaway. And it looks like we're going to get ready to go racing here. Finney, it looks like there's a couple cars missing from the grid, notably. Keith Haney, Austin Derbyshire, Anthony DeFrenchie don't look like they're going to take the green flag.
Yeah, indeed. So they're going to have to be starting from the pits, if anything. And actually, if I look here, so we don't have Austin Derbyshire and Keith Haney in the server, so they're not going to be taking the green flag here tonight, at least for race 1.
A little bit of a shame there, and as we roll through, we got 2 pace laps to cover here. But Daniel Roper, Finney, let's talk about domination. He and his teammate, the number 11 car, have dominated most of the season, but I expect nothing less of them today with that number 1 car. It's going to be their sole effort. He's in a great spot to just run away with this with such a small grid.
Yeah, indeed. Has 1 win to his name, looking to make it 2 tonight, and definitely, with his pace, I think he can definitely pull it off.
Onto the back straightaway. When we come back to the start-finish line, we'll turn them loose for a total of 205 laps tonight, 100 laps, 5 laps of caution, and then another 100 laps in a 2-race format we have not seen here yet this season. It's time to go racing something special here tonight for the Hardline Midwest Powersource Cup Series. Through turns 3 and 4, Daniel Roper in control in the number 1 car, alongside the number 30, and green flag flies at IRP, and Daniel Roper takes off to an early lead.
You know, as far as there, Raul Alves is going to settle in behind, and then Bressi in behind them. So top 3 already trying to split away, but battling going on behind with, I believe that's Bagunia in the 7.
Bagunia to the inside of Blevins, and look at Joshua Adams is right behind Blevins all the way up in that outside groove. Got to watch out. Don't want to scrape that wall. Out of turn number 4, lap 1 completed, and looks like Bagunia's going backwards, and that number 7 has to slot in line in front of Hensley.
Yeah, it looked almost like a reverse Martinsville, where he was stuck to the inside and just couldn't get in line.
Bressi got in the fence up out of turn 2 there, Finney. A little bit of right front damage to that car.
Yeah, Bressi already finding the wall early on in the race. Hopefully he doesn't damage his car too much more than this.
Alves has caught Roper here, and Roper has not been able to drive away here early. He's got the field right up behind him as they hunt him down out of turn number 2.
Yeah, but here's the thing, though, that it's looking to be, as they run right now, a pretty single lane. And I think once the tires start to wear off, we're going to start seeing multiple lanes being used by these drivers. But definitely, he's going to have to sit in behind for now.
Oh, we got the 30 car in the wall. That's Alves. We've seen. I think that we're going to see a lot of sparks flying tonight. Caution flies here, Finney. It's the 93 of Brandon Kreutz up into the fence early here at IRP. And this has just been more bad luck for that 93 car. And he's not really caught a break yet this season, unfortunately, in that Fame Apparel number 93 Camaro.
No, he's not. And it looked like it started in turn 4 between him and the 27.
It's Jared Matthew in the 27. Oh, yeah, he bounced off the wall there, and then that just got Krutz all out of shape and wasn't able to recover. Loops it around, backs it into the fence. Not a ton of damage, though. Should be able to fix that, or at least repair most of it.
Yeah, I mean, really, you don't need too much, don't have to worry too much about your body work here at a short track like this. Just need to make sure the engine and the handling is fine, and you're good to go. So yeah, just gonna have to bang those fenders back into place, and you should be able to get going. But yeah, everyone down on pit road.
They did a good job getting back on the throttle to avoid more damage, but obviously he kind of got hip-checked there by the 27, so I'm sure there's probably a little bit of frustration and confusion out there as to who was really at fault for that. But the 93 coming down pit lane, the 27, and others, everybody but Cody Tabor and Anthony DeFrenchie has pulled out on the racetrack here, Finney. He was one of the guys that looked like he wasn't going to start.
Oh, and Bressi out and away very early compared to everyone else, so I think 2 tires on that 24.
Definitely a 2-tire stop for the 24, as well as the 88 of Joshua Adams, only a 10-second stop. And unless he hired a really high-end pit crew, that's not going to be a 4-tire stop for the 88. And I'm a little bit surprised, Finian, that everyone else would take 4 tires. It's so early, I can't really imagine those would do you a whole lot of good, but I've been proven wrong in the past. It seems like tires are almost always a good decision.
Yeah, indeed. So, but we'll see how that works out for these guys as they run.
Yeah.
Alva's actually back down on pit road.
He is back down as well. Cody Tabor has also come in for a pit stop. Just wanted to get a lap led, so that leaves Anthony DeFrenchie out front. And there's Cody Tabor pulling out right now. And off he goes. And you see there's the 93 car of Brandon Krutz, trying to repair his race early in the going after getting looped around after contact with Jared Matthew in the number 27.
Oh, and also Roper, I noticed, has dropped back to the end, so I think got a speeding penalty on pit road.
Yes, penalty for that number 1 car of Daniel Roper. And that's a shame early in the going here.
Yeah, and I mean, again, saw he had so much pace, but you know that only does you so much when you get a penalty like that. Fortunately for him, we don't have that many cars here tonight, but he's gonna have to pass 9 cars ahead of him to get back up to the lead.
I think if anyone can do it, I think Roper is your guy, but obviously putting himself already back. And let's not get ahead of ourselves here, Finney. The lap times here, about 21 seconds. They're short. The laps are going to tick off extremely quickly here tonight. So, while it might seem like you have a lot of time, you really don't. And if you pass 1 car every 10 laps, it's going to be barely enough with about 90 laps to go until the end of race number 1. This is a very close start here. Coming back to the green flag in lap number 9. Here we go. Anthony DeFrenchie leads him back down.
And DeFrenchie gets a good start. Bressi trying to take him on the outside. Actually, looks like DeFrenchie's going to give it to him.
Yeah, I'm a little bit surprised that he didn't take that outside groove, but must not have wanted to hold that line as Bressi drives away. And DeFrenchie just pulling over to let everyone else by. This might be a strategical thing here, Finney. Maybe just wanted to lead the lap.
Yeah, potentially so. So DeFrenchie's going to try to fall back and find his place in line. But up towards the front, Adams is now battling with Bressi. Remember, both these guys only
30
took
car.
2 tires.
30 car almost looped it in turn number 1. Krutz into the wall again off the rear bumper of that number 30. So Krutz got a piece of that as well, but the 30 was all out of shape heading down into turns 1 and 2. And so is the 46 just up the road, way sideways, manages to hang on to it.
Oh, and still sideways as he's trying to get the power back down, but it's going to lose a ton of time and fall back to about 8th place.
Daniel Roper already back up to 5th here, Finney, and so he's making a fool out of me for saying he wouldn't be going to have enough time to get it done. Ooh, almost contact there with the 30 of Raul Alves. And he's going to set his sights up the road, but battle for the lead. Thomas Bressi and Joshua Adams. This is not unusual to see these 2 guys battling, but again, it's early here. You don't want to get yourself caught up in an issue, so I think you're going to give each other plenty of room here. Still lots of time left.
Yeah, Adams trying to run a little bit lower of a line compared to Bressi, trying to get the run off the corner and maybe get his inside by the next turn. But looks like it's not working for him at the moment, but he's going to keep on trying.
And I think it's a little bit early to be using the bumper, because obviously if you knock a guy out of the way now, you're definitely going to receive some payback later in the night. So you see the 88 trying to get that run off the corner. But the straightaways here are not very long here, Finney, and so that exit speed only matters just a little bit. And a lot of guys would rather stay up to that outside lane and protect the faster line around. And I think a lot of this tonight is going to be all about patience here, Finney, and how much does the 88 have?
Yeah, indeed. And remember, too, you're talking about, too early to use the bumper? I mean, we still have a complete second race after this too, so you can't even do much on race 1. Otherwise, it's going to come tenfold to you in race 2. So you got to really keep your tempers down, and especially at a track like this where it's very, very much follow the leader. It's going to be hard to make some moves. You see Bagunia got a good piece of the wall there, a lot of right front damage.
And just behind him, Bleeven's trying to hang on to 4th place, but Daniel Roper says no. He's going to drive down to the inside, get alongside, and clear him just by an inch. Slides right across his bumper out of turn 4, puts himself back solidly inside the top 5, and trying to move himself forward to go back and get the leaders. But we mentioned Cole Bagunia there, Finian. Started in the 5th spot. Has got a little bit of a slow start, but has moved his way up into 3rd place now.
Yeah, but currently he's in danger now, falling back to 4th. As we're talking about Daniel Roper on a charge, you see him loose off turn 4, trying to get to the inside of Bagunia. There he is, trying to make the pass.
Completely alongside. Now, will he be able to clear the 7? Yes, he will. Looks like Bagunia's just going to give that to him. Kind of a close battle here for 3rd through 6th, as Bagunia and Bleevens are right into the middle of this mess. That's allowed Bressi to pull away just a little bit from Joshua Adams just up the road.
Yeah, Adams seems to be falling just a little bit off of Bressi's pace. He was right up against him after the initial start, so Adams starting to lose a little bit, and again, in danger of falling prey to Daniel Roper, who's clearly wasted no time trying to get back to the front.
Alvis is right on the rear bumper of Bleevens, and Bleevens is loose, trying to protect that spot, but obviously this is an easy place to overdrive here, Finian. There's not a lot of banking to lean on, and you see the 30 trying to take advantage of that. Some rear bumper damage to the 30 car, so he's either been run into or has hung that rear end out enough to hit the wall.
Yeah, that was when the 93 of Brandon Kreutz hit him, yeah, in the right rear. So if you're going to hit in any place, probably the best place to hit in the rear.
Crashing! Turn number 1.
Ooh.
And he's going to slowly collect it. Hensley avoids, but lots of contact there, and I think he just kind of sent the Hail Mary there, and quite a bit of contact there. Let's take a look at it.
I think that really shows how hard it is to pass for these guys. Almost have to lean on each other almost to try to make the pass there.
And Tyler Hensley just manages to miss the 30. So it's been elbows out so far here tonight, Finian. Lots of damaged cars. Alvis, Kreutz, Matthew, and a couple others have leaned on each other, but up front, look who's caught the 2nd place car. That's Daniel Roper to the inside of Joshua Adams, and Roper hasn't leaned on anybody yet tonight. He's been very respectful climbing his way through the field.
And you see Adams trying to keep him at bay to that inside. Adams trying to use as much of a run on the outside as he can get, but Roper has just got a fantastic line going on in the middle lane.
Yeah, not giving the 88 a ton of room, but just enough as we have the caution again for the 27, and Matthew spun around in turn 4. And that's Anthony DeFrenchi in the 44, also with a huge amount of damage to the front of that Ford Fusion.
Oh, yeah.
And Matthew's been involved in an earlier incident. Let's take a look, actually, at where this started. And the 27 loses this all by himself? Ah, he did. Just lost it all by himself. And 44 just could not get it woed down in time.
Jared Matthew, though, he got a pretty good lick on the front. He got a pretty good lick in the front end of his car into the wall, and then also from behind as well. So he's gonna have to sit in the pits a bit trying to fix that damage.
Here's a look from onboard the rear. Oh, we're gonna have to replace that camera afterward, I think. All right, well, got a couple takers, actually a lot of takers on pit lane here, Finian.
Yeah, pretty much all the takers, actually, except for, I believe, the 2 of Cody Tabers actually stayed out.
Another, well, he already got the point for leading a lap here, Finian, so maybe this time he's going to stay out for good.
We'll see what he does as they, as they come around a second time. But yeah, everyone down on pit road looks like everyone's going to be taking 4 tires.
Well, we're a quarter of the way through race 1 here, Finian, so the time has been ticking off. You see Bagunia pick up a couple spots. And the rest of the field rolls off a pit lane slowly and reluctantly. A couple drivers fixing some damage. The 30 of Raul Alvis, also one of those drivers. Anthony DeFrenchi still in pit lane, but Cody Tabor now coming down to serve. So I think he just wants to stay out of this, Finney. It looks like he's just going out and coming in just to make sure that he's last on the restart. So an interesting strategy, but so far so good. He didn't have a scratch on that car.
Yeah, and I think he's also trying to save his stuff for race 2 as well. So he's trying to just keep his car going and keep it going by the end of this race as well.
Well, so far we've had 2 cautions for a total of 5 caution laps. 3 lead changes so far, mostly between Thomas Bressi, Daniel Roper. They've swapped the positions a couple of times. I think one of those lead changes was Cody Tabor on the caution sequence.
Oh, and it looks like Raul Alves is falling a lap down.
Yeah, he had to fix quite a bit of damage, so that's not too much of a surprise. There's a long way to go. I think we're expecting more cautions, so not a huge indent on his progress, but certainly not where he wanted to be after starting second 27 laps ago.
Yeah, at least on the bright side for him, he'll be the first car a lap down, and the only car a lap down in this race, so if we were to get another caution, which is definitely likely, he'll get the free pass.
All right, we're going to restart on lap number 28. The leader is Thomas Bressi, who was our last race winner at Watkins Glen, outlasted the 41 car after a brutal battle in the late stages. But here he is leading now with Cole Begunia to his outside, Daniel Roper, the pole sitter right behind him, and alongside him, Joshua Adams in the 88. Green flag in the air once again, lap 28 here at IRP.
Roper trying to get ahead of Cole Begunia as they come out of turn 2, and he'll get that spot. Begunia falling back to third.
And Roper's been extremely fast here tonight. It's going to be really hard for Bressi to hang on. But Roper certainly going to put the power down, try to get back to the rear bumper of the 24. Oh, he gets all the way alongside here, Finian. Oh, the 24 turned down a lane, trying to apex late. Couldn't quite get it done. Bressi just scrapes the wall out of turn 2. Roper looks like he's going to take the lead away if he drives in here deep, but Bressi can't quite do anything about it. Daniel Roper back to the lead on lap number 30.
Oh, and loose as he clips the apron, and he's got a new competitor behind him. Joshua Adams got around Cole Begunia. He's now trying to get around Bressi for second.
It's a wild moment there. I want to take a quick look at it, actually. That was a pretty wild moment through turns 3 and 4. And Adams managed to stick his nose up underneath, but as we head back live here, Finian, still working over the 24 as our side-by-side in 1 and 2.
Oh, and actually Bressi lets Adams on by. So interesting move there.
Well, he had to. Daniel Roper is already about 0.8 of a second up the road here, Finian. They're losing him quick, and if he gets out of touch, it's going to be race 1 over for them as soon as he starts lapping cars. And you see occasional sparks coming off the walls here. Drivers exploiting every inch of racetrack. We've seen the 93 of Brandon Kreutz get into it a couple of times, and he's back in the fight here, Finian. He's beaten and battered, but still putting up a good fight back there in 7th place, trying to improve his position.
Yeah, has used a tow, I believe. That car looks pretty much brand new. So trying to get himself back in the fight.
And must conserve that car here quite a bit, because as we get to the late stages of this race, if you use up that tow, you're going to be in bad shape if you get wrecked again.
Yeah, so these guys are given 1 fast repair, and that's really due to the fact that there are supposed to be 2 different races, but you are allowed to use it at any time you please. So that's a risk that you're going to use here. He decided to fix his car now, but cannot use another fast repair for the rest of the night. So if he wrecks out in this first race, he's going to get he's not going to get any points in race 2.
Oh, the 30 car roll of Alves trying to chase down the 27, and Jared Matthew almost got into the rear bumper here, Finian. And Jared Matthew's been struggling a little bit tonight, has not found the speed in that car. And these two are battling, not for, well, technically for position, but Alves is 1 lap behind Jared Matthews. So he's got to go around him and then once more to get that 10th spot back away.
Yeah, Alves really at this point just hoping for a caution to come out, as we have seen a few in the early parts of this race. But everyone's actually pretty spread out at the moment.
Yeah, with the exception of 10th and 11th that we're watching right now. And well, the way these guys are racing each other, looks like they're angry, but I don't remember them being near each other, so I can't imagine why that would be the case. Daniel Roper out to a really solid 1 second lead over Joshua Adams as we work lap number 37, getting closer to the halfway point of race number 1 here tonight.
It looks like Tyler Hensley is trying to make a move on the 25 according to Blevins.
And Blevins running a little bit lower. Hensley up the groove just a little bit, right up against that wall as the sun continues to set. Oh, Blevins way sideways in 3 and 4, sends it to a full drift. Hensley gets into the wall, maybe anticipating a spin there, but Blevins all out of shape, and that's going to let the 46 get to his inside.
Yeah, and you saw there that he just lost so much momentum that Hensley was able to get a better exit and is now on the inside of Blevins trying to make the move work, but can't as he give up the spot.
It seems what I've been noticing a lot here, Finian, is that if you charge the entry too much, you're going to really struggle with mid-corner grip, and that's kind of counterintuitive because a lot of short tracks... Oh, the 25 spins! Blevins around hard into the inside wall, caution out lap 40. Did he get hit there?
Yeah, he did. He got tapped by the 46 of Hensley.
Let's go back and take a look at that, because that was certainly something. Oh, yeah. Might have been a little bit of netcode, but certainly a misjudgment there by the 46. You saw him slow down, almost like he was already apologizing for that incident. Yeah, just got his rear tires picked up off the ground, slams into that inside wall. So big contact there between two midfield drivers at the moment.
Yeah, it's just so hard with this track because the exit point off of 4 and off of 2 is that outside lane, so everyone kind of just migrates to that one point, and unfortunately both of them just got collected. Yeah, found each other there at the same place and same time.
And maybe we'll ride on board the roll bar here with Tyler Hensley, maybe get a better look. It's obviously sometimes tricky to judge where the front bumper of your car actually is. He might have thought he was going to be clear. Let's ride on board here. Not quite clear. And hooks that number 25 car around. So it looks like we got some more drivers back on pit lane again here, getting some more service. And we'll continue with this race.
Indeed, it looks like Roper's going to come off of pit road first. Joshua Adams second, Bressi third, Begunia fourth, and Hensley in fifth.
Yeah, not a whole lot of shifting around there positions-wise. Most of those guys were already in those positions. And that is going to give Raul Alves a lap back, so he'll be able to come down, get tires, and be back in contention for this race. So he was one of those guys that love to see that yellow. Had 3 cautions for 8 laps, 4 lead changes on the night so far. We're closing in on the halfway point of race number 1 again at lap number 100. We'll award finishing points, full points. A 5-lap caution period will follow, and then another 100-lap sprint to the end as a second full points race. So there's a lot on the line here tonight. So Jana Roper has really been has had the speed to really be out front here, Finney. The only other car I think's got anything for him is really the 88 and the 24. Those are the only 2 cars I've seen that can really compete with Daniel Roper, but even they let the one get by and drive about a second up the road. So obviously a little bit tricky tonight to chase down Roper. He's been quick all season, but especially at these shorter tracks. Remember Iowa? Man, he was fast there.
Yeah, indeed. And actually, I honestly think another driver you probably should have mentioned in that group is Raul Alves. Has not had the luck as far as track position is concerned, but definitely as far as pace is concerned, he was actually moving up with Roper to the front of the field, but unfortunately got spun around and got put a lap down, and also has some damage to work with on his car. But definitely, if he can get himself in a good position, is finally now back on the lead lap. I think he might have something for the leaders if he can get back up there.
The sun continues to set here at Indianapolis Raceway Park, also known as Lucas Oil Raceway. The Ford FR500 pace car should give these guys the 1 to green this time by. And we'll restart on lap number 45, right about the halfway point of the first of 2 races here tonight. And there's the 1 to green, and Roper will probably elect for the inside groove, as you see the 88 driving up along the outside, fitting. That's a little bit surprising. I would have expected him to choose the outside lane for the restart.
Yeah, I guess he probably would like to dive in, prevent Adams from diving into the inside of him in turn 1. I think that's probably why he wanted to pick that, but we'll see how it plays out here with these guys as we're going to get the restart.
Through turns 3 and 4, right up against the safer barrier on that outside lane. The field gets right up tight. Everyone that started is still running right now, all in the lead lap, all ready to go and try to collect those points. Out of turn 4, Roper in control. Green flag flies once again.
And Bressi trying to follow follow Roper through Adams.
Oh, got one around, Finian. Anthony DeFrenchi in turn number 2 pulled off the racetrack, and looks like that car had stalled, but he's got it rolling once again.
Wow, and everyone behind did a fantastic job of avoiding, especially Raul Alves, who I'm sure didn't want to see that happen in front of him as he just got his lap back.
So the 27 of Jared Matthew just scrapes the wall in turn 2. And Alves is trying to get that spot away from that 27. Remember, just a couple minutes ago, we were saying how the 30 was a full lap behind? Well, cautions do wonderful things for those that are a couple laps down. Ooh, close quarters there for a couple rows of cars. Blevins and Cody Tabor almost got together out of turn 4 as well.
And Tabor's still minding his time, minding his race, just trying to keep the car going in one piece.
And I have to imagine the lights will be on soon here as the sun sets. As we look through turn 2 as the leaders drive on by. What a sight that is.
Yeah, indeed. Really, the beauty of the sim just exponented as they added day to night. Just looks absolutely fantastic as the sun's going to set here, and we're going to pretty much have the second race in the nighttime. That's going to be fun to watch as Daniel Roper still leads over the rest of the field.
How about Brandon Kreutz? Started up, where did he start? Let's take a look here. Looks like he started in 10th and had a couple issues, got looped around, got into the wall, has gotten his car repaired, and has now climbed back up to 6th. And moving his way forward, he's got Tyler Hensley in the crosshairs just up the road.
He's got Tyler Hensley ahead of him, but Raul Alves is up behind him trying to get that spot.
Oh, hello. Here comes Alves to the inside, gets alongside, and go contact, and around goes the 93 into the fence out of turn 2. The caution will fly once again, and wow. We're going to have to look at that from up above, because that was certainly unexpected there. And I have to look and see if the 93 was coming down or the 30 was going up, because that was about as bad as it gets there. I'm going to keep an eye on the 93 before we go to the replay here, Finian. Here to see what he thinks about that. And looks like he's going to leave it. So as the field comes down to pit lane, let's go back and take a look at what caused that last incident between the 93 of Brandon Kreutz and the 30 car Raul Alves. Oh, wow, Finian. I'd like your opinion on that.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't want to put any blame there, but it looks like the 30 of Alves just kind of gassed it up mid-corner, knowing that the 93 was there. So I don't know. I kind of put a question mark on that.
Yeah, that was my interpretation as well. It looked from my perspective, at least. Let's listen to the throttle here, and everyone at home can make their own decision. Yeah, I don't know about that one. I think the jury's out on that, but we'll see. I think there might be some more action coming later in the race if the 93 ever gets to the back of the 30. But Alves has taken the lead after being a lap down early, so whether or not he's made some enemies, we'll find out later in the night.
Indeed we will, and it looks like he's going to stay out here.
I think that's wise. I think you want to stay away from the 93 of Kreutz for now. Orange glow cast over turns 1 and 2 at the moment. All right, well, it's certainly been action-packed here tonight so far. Let's take a look. 4 cautions for a total of 12 laps, 7 lead changes amongst the leaders. Alves is the latest of them. And didn't get there without some controversy. The contact just now between him and the 93 Brandon Kreutz. So we're past... Oh, go ahead, Finian.
I was going to say, what we didn't point out since we were watching the replay, that Joshua Adams and Bressi have ended up ahead of Roper on the pit cycle. I believe Blevins and Alves stayed out.
I think you are correct about that. Both the top two have stayed out, and Roper's back to 5th, but we have seen that that doesn't hold them up for too long, so these guys better go for a run.
Yeah, definitely. So we're going to see now 45 laps to go left in race number 1 here at Lucas Oil. You're about to take the green flag, and this should be fun here on this restart.
Green flag flies again. The 30 gets a great jump over the rest of the field, but behind him, it's chaos as Roper tries to get around the 88, but nowhere to go. A big blockade of cars right in front of him. Oh, contact between him and the 24, the 88 and the 25 side by side at a turn 2.
Yeah, Adam's trying to get ahead of Blevins, who is on older tires. They see Roper also wasting no time to the inside of Blevins, doors him in 3 and 4.
That was a little bit of hip checking there, and obviously I think the aggression level has picked up.
And Cody Tabor hard into the wall.
Tabor spins around in turn number 4. You called it, Finian. And that was bound to happen as a chaotic restart continued. And this is alongside the 27 of Jared Matthew. And it looks like Tabor just got into the wall all by himself out of turn 4.
Yeah, did a great job, though, of keeping it off of the 27 of Matthew. He almost completely wrecked into the wall, so try to keep himself isolated. Did a great job of that.
I think he just committed back to the throttle too early. Wow, that sunset is gorgeous. I think he was probably looking at the sun. And throttled down a little bit too early, got into the wall, and just missed the 27 of Jared Matthew, and around he goes. And while we're in replay here, let's take a look at what happened between Blevins and Daniel Roper. Obviously, those two got together. Yeah, Roper just drove in there and knocked the 25 out of the way. Sparks flying off the 25 car. And then the caution flew. And that locked Roper in front of the 25 car and put Roper on the inside for the restart, should the positions stay as they are. So, well, it looks like it's not going to, because everyone's going to come back down to pit lane. That is surprising to me, Finian. We only ran about a lap.
Yeah, a lot of those guys were in the back half of the grid, so I think they probably figured, why not?
Looks like Daniel Roper is going to reassume the lead here up front. Or actually, the 30 car is the leader. Roper is back in 3rd. We are off to a pretty good start, but lately, Finian, looks like cautions have just been breeding cautions, and as that has been happening, it seems there's a couple people out there that are disagreeing with each other on racecraft, and we've had a couple single car incidents, but the majority have been, I would say, bump and dump out of turns 4 and 2.
Yeah, I think that's we're starting to see some guys not having enough patience, I guess, would be that, or some guys just running out of their patience as the night goes on, just being stuck behind these guys, especially considering how hard it is to pass at this track. Very much single groove, and we haven't really had long enough of a run for guys to be able to use multiple lanes to pass.
Well, the lights have come on here at Lucas Oil Raceway, and the intensity is picking up. There's fire in the sky and fire in the minds of these drivers as they continue to get aggravated with each other. And places like this will do that to you. And I would argue, Finian, that a place like this might even be more frustrating than a track like Bristol, and I'll give you a reason. And it's because the track is so wide, but there's so little actual area that you can utilize to pass. And I think that, in a driver's mind, makes it that much more frustrating, because he can see all that track, but just can't use it. A place like Bristol or Martinsville, it's narrow, and you know that you've got that little track to work with.
No, definitely that does play into it. I mean, you can go almost 4 wide on this track the way it is, but there really is only one racing lane, and nothing else much besides it.
And it's right up against that wall, and we all know how dangerous that could be. Just ask Brandon Kreutz, who's been into it several times tonight. Out of turn number 4, Alvis and Adams on the front row. Green flag flies again. Alvis takes off with Daniel Roper right behind. Roper clears and heads down into turn 1 in 2nd.
Yeah, Adams with a very poor start, lost the position to Roper, as Roper almost gets into Alvis as he's trying to make the pass out of 2. So that opens the door for Adams on the inside of him.
Through turns 3 and 4, Adams gets to the inside of Roper. Can he do anything with it? Will he lean on the 1 car? So far, so good as we complete a lap this time. Oh, into the wall! The 88 gets turned! And the field piles in from behind, and the whole track is stopped in turn 2.
We're still green, though, but guys, 3 wide out of turn number 2. Bressi's fallen all the way back now to about 10th or 9th place.
Bressi's car is destroyed. Let's go back, take a look at it. There was a huge logjam in turn 1 after that incident. I think the 88 kind of cleared himself there, Finian, but everyone got checked up. Nowhere to go. Kreutz, ooh, the 27 got a big hit from Cody Tabor. I think that's going to end Tabor's night, at least in race number 1. That thing is just messed up.
Yeah, indeed it will be, but up back towards the front of the field, Roper has gotten around Raul Alves, and that's nothing too surprising there.
Cody Tabor has pulled his car behind the wall. We'll get that vehicle fixed as best he can so he can compete in race number 2. Got 35 laps to go in race number 1, and it has not been short on action. Roper has reassumed the lead here late in the going, as the rest of the field piled up on the restart. Tyler Hensley is trying to climb his way into 4th now, 88 of Adams just up the road. And obviously Adams has quite a bit of damage. You see Blevins bounce off the wall in turn 2. Quite a bit of cars now have a lot of damage. I think Begunia and Roper are some of the only cars out there that haven't been involved in an incident.
Yeah, indeed. Roper probably the cleanest car tonight. I haven't seen him hit the wall, hit anyone tonight at all, and I think that just kind of shows how much talent he has in this series and with this car. So definitely expecting to see more of this as the season goes on.
Well, and here's the other thing, Finian, and that's really been Begunia's trend so far this year as a whole. I don't really recall him being involved in much of anything negative. Even at Iowa, it was a very clean, quiet race for him too. So he's been quiet. Even at Watkins Glen, Finian, remember, he was being very calm and collected about everything. I think he had that pit road penalty, which hurt him. But for the most part, been a calm season. Looking at his iRating, quite high, over 4,700. Oh, caution out again. And it's Corey Blevins in. Oh, and the 44 again. The Frenchie involved. Oh, there comes the 27 split in the middle, and that 44 car is going to be retired. That thing is destroyed. If he still has that fast repair, now's a good time to use it, but let's take a look at what caused this wreck. Oh, Blevins was already sideways.
Yeah, he was handling a very loose car.
And just slowly looped it around. And let it slowly roll down the track. And, ooh, the Frenchie just did not get woe down at all. Almost like he didn't see the 25. And yeah, in all fairness, he might not have. I mean, the way that the sun is and how dim it is on the track.
Yeah, I was looking at it from his perspective. The 25 was completely in his blind spot, and as soon as he saw him on his screen, he's trying to woe down, but couldn't do it in time.
Yeah, so unfortunate issues there, and I don't think the caution didn't fly very quickly, and that didn't help the 44's case. Anyway, I was talking about the iRating. While these guys are back on pit lane once again, let's talk about iRatings for a second, Finian. Daniel Roper, take a guess at the number that he's rocking for his iRating.
6,000.
7,400.
Damn, that's...
Yeah, that is a very, very high iRating. 4716 for Alvis, 3100 for Bressi, 4,000 for Josh Adams. This is a very highly skilled group of drivers, but tonight looks like they're letting the stress get to the best of them here. A couple of drivers been involved in several incidents.
Indeed, but as pit stops have gone underway, Raul Alvis still out on the track in the lead. He stayed out yet again, so has not pit for a while.
Maybe that's the game to play here, Finian. I mean, we've only gone a couple laps. I mean, we started out with a real good run, and then lately it just seems like we've been only able to go about 5 to 10 laps before seeing another yellow, and with less than 30 laps to go in race number 1, I don't hate that strategy. I think it's quite a good one, actually.
Yeah, I think that's Alvis just reading the race and seeing the patterns and playing to them, so we'll see how this strategy works out for him, and it's been working out pretty good. Roper wasn't able to get past him until after a few laps, so... And even then, Alvis stayed in second, at least. So I think that's his plan, at least for race 1, until he can get his car fixed.
A little bit of confusion up here. Looks like the 25's got to get rolling again. And we still have about 2 laps to go left in the caution period. That 27 of Jared Matthews completely torn up that thing.
Yeah, he actually got it. He took his fast repair already, so I think he's going to be stuck with that car till for race number 2 as well. So I can imagine he's not in a good situation at all. I believe he got this damage in that big pileup.
Yeah, probably not a great mood either after how this night has gone for the 27. So it looks like DeFrenchie and Tabor are out of at least race 1, probably as well for race 2. And Alvis, Roper, Begunia, Hensley, Adams, your top 5. Bressi, gonna rock that damaged car. Maybe just try to limp it to the end of race 1 and get a clean one for race 2. 1 to green here at IRP. And I've still got the bets on that number 1 car, Finian. I mean, other than a little bit of a scrape with the 25, he hasn't been into anything either. And he's got the pace to just go out there and win both these races tonight.
Yeah, so really, if he can keep this up and keep the pace he's been going at, should be able to get around Alvis no problem. And I think he knows that, and he's going to hopefully be patient on making this pass for the lead.
Down a couple drivers through 3 and 4. We'll restart with about 26 laps to go in race number 1. Alvis and Roper on the front row. Begunia and Hensley in row number 2. And Adams and Bressi in row 3. Green flag flies again, lap number 75, and we're off. And Roper's probably going to drive right around the outside of the 30 and clear himself by the exit of turn 1, and indeed he does. Look at Begunia all the way down in the bottom alongside the 30 car. Almost contact there. Chaos off of turn 2.
Yeah, that's the problem with running that low line. It's so hard to get the run off the corner. And Begunia already starting to lose some spots here. Hensley's moved himself up into 3rd place.
And Hensley gave the 30 a shot coming out of turn number 4. Big hit to the rear bumper. And oh, is he hunting down blood here, Finney? Remember the issue earlier? Actually, it was Blevins in the 30, I believe. Was it not?
Yes. Yeah, it was Blevins.
It looks like the 46 has a score to settle here as well. He's been quite aggressive on the rear bumper of the 30.
I think that might just be Hensley just trying to get around Alvis, and Alvis giving him a hard time so that way Hensley can have a shot at Roper, but that 30 is not making it easy. And holding on to 2nd place.
And Hensley right to the rear bumper again, tries to get it turned down below off of turn 4. Can't quite get the power down. It's so frustrating when you're that driver in behind. Oh, contact out of 2, and around goes the 46.
Hensley keeps it going straight, so we're not going to have a caution here. But Hensley's going to lose a ton of time.
Well, if he didn't like the 30 before, he's probably not going to like him now. There's obviously a disagreement there. Behind Bressi, or excuse me, Adams and Kreutz side by side. Kreutz is maintaining that 6th spot after all the action he's been in tonight.
I think Kreutz thinks he's been in too much action. I think he would like the action for him to die down a bit.
And Roper's just running away.
Indeed he has been, and Bressi is, through all the stuff he's been through with that damaged car, is up into 3rd, now trying to take away 2nd from Raul Alves ahead of him.
And getting a little bit tight for 3rd place here. Begunia has caught back up after a slow restart for the 7 car. A little bit of right front damage, do I see there, or is that just me? On the 7.
That might have been from earlier. It's kind of hard to tell.
88 and 24 side by side at a turn 2 now, fighting pretty hard, but the 88 will take that spot away.
Yeah, Bressi now really starting to fall off. I think his car, just that damage is not helping him at all with his handling as well.
Ooh.
So he's got to try to handle it out for another 20 laps so he can fix it.
88 car scraped the wall a couple times. Right on board the gyro cam here with Joshua Adams.
Yeah, the gyro cam just kind of shows you really how little banking there is to this track.
Only 12 degrees, which is very insignificant. I think is that as much as New Hampshire? I think New Hampshire's a little bit less, but certainly not a ton, and it's not a lot to lean on. I think that's why we're seeing a lot of side-to-side contact tonight. We heard Adams try to commit to the throttle a little bit too early and couldn't quite get it down, had to back out of it, and then lost a little bit of ground to Begunia and Alvis. But up the road, Roper just putting a spanking on these guys tonight. 2.7 seconds up the road from Alvis and Begunia, and continues to extend that lead.
Oh, here comes, speaking of Begunia, here he comes to the back bumper of Alvis, trying to potentially make a pass for 2nd place.
He's just going to chuck it down to the inside, try to make it stick. Slide job? Oh, not quite. But he's going to clear the 30, and that position is going to change hands.
Yeah, Laguna with significantly fresher tires than Alves, who's stayed out there for quite a bit on those older set of tires. So I think he's really going to start struggling for grip compared to these other guys around him.
You see behind, Adams closing in. And look at Adams just straddling those seams. You don't want to be on those seams there, Finney, because those are pretty slippery once the track gets hot and greasy. So if you watch the 88 mid-corner, he doesn't keep his tires on that as he gets to the inside of the 30. He's either straddling them or between them and keeping his tires in the grippy stuff as much as he can. Side by side for third out of turn 4. Adams has the quicker car at the moment. We'll see if the 30 rolls over and lets him by. Into the wall goes Alves. Bouncing the right side off.
Yeah, I don't think really Alves has much of a choice here. He's been out on the track for quite a while. His car has been damaged too, so yeah, I think he's going to eventually have to let Adams on by.
And looks like there it will be, and the 88 completes a pass up to third for Joshua Adams. We're going to be coming to about 10 laps to go here in a moment, Finian, a 4-second lead between Roper and Bagunia. This might just be Roper's night.
Yeah, I think so, and if Roper can pull off another win in the next race as well, he's going to see a lot of points added to his name.
Yeah, it will be max points if he does that, and that would be insane. I mean, max points in 2 races? That'd be pretty wild. So if he continues as he's going, it's going to be hard to stop him. And the only cars that were really a threat, Adams and Bressi, and you could argue the 30 car as well, all damaged and off the pace at the moment. 10 laps to go here at IRP for race number 1. And everything's kind of settled down for the moment. I think the battle for now is the top 5, Bressi and Kreutz running nose to tail. And Kreutz last time by was about a couple hundredths of a second quicker, trying to close in on Bressi's bumper. Oh, the 93 loose!
93 Kreutz.
Spins around. We're going to have a sprint to the end of race number 1. And I think this is just a matter of trying to get the power down too soon. He was already in the wall. Already had that car unstable. Gets back to the throttle and gets on the apron. They're a little bit out of control and loops it into the fence.
Yeah, Kreutz has just been having a miserable night.
Well, Roper is coming on down here. Finney, and Bagunia is going to stay out, maybe try to make it last a couple laps. It's only going to be about 4 or 5 laps to the end of race number 1, so I like the strategy here. He might manage to seal a win out of this.
Yeah, we'll see with time, but again, he's going to have to hold off a charging Daniel Roper, so Bagunia is really going to have to make sure he nails his start. Otherwise, he's going to fall prey to the number 1 car.
And the question is anybody else going to play that strategy? It doesn't really look like it. Looks like Adams is going to take 2 tires.
No, he took 4.
Oh, did he take 4? Oh, he did.
He took 4.
Oh, I'm looking at the wrong cars. That's why. I was wondering. I was like, why the heck is the 1 car not leaving his box? Well, he did. Left in front of the 88. That's what tunnel vision will do for you. All right, well, that was going to work for Bagunia until no one else tried that strategy. A little bit surprised by that. I think now he's kind of a sitting duck here.
Yeah, and I mean, can't blame him for trying to play this card. I think this is really all he's got left, the only card he's got left to play.
And let's face it, he was going to be finishing ahead of the other guys behind him anyway, so it might as well throw something at the 1 car and try to see if he can steal away a win. I mean, he's only going to have to fend him off for a couple laps. If he can just, you know, be aggressive and block a little bit and maybe aggravate him, it might do the trick.
Oh, and it looks like Bressi is falling a lap down.
Yep. And as has Matthew Hensley, Kreutz, Blevins, and DeFrenchy's already been out for a little while. But majority of the field is about a lap down.
Yeah, I'm actually surprised that Hensley's a lap down as well. I think he was trying to fix some damage. And, yeah, just waited too long.
I think that's the case with a lot of these drivers. As you can see, the sun has officially set. The lights are on here, Finney. It's going to be about a 3-lap dash to the end of this race.
Yeah, so very quick. And I think, honestly, that's going to be enough time for Roper to get around. But really, at least on the bright side for Begunia, with all these cars a lap down, worse, he can finish his 4th.
Well, I think it's worth the gamble. Okay, it'll be a 4-lap dash to the end after the caution is cycled through. And Cole Begunia in that FedEx Freight Chevrolet Camaro is going to be your leader for the restart. Daniel Roper is going to be starting on his outside. I think if Begunia can even hold him off for a lap or so, that would be an impressive feat. 4 laps to the end of race 1 till we award points, throw a caution, and do it all over again. Coming back to the green flag, Cole Begunia in control. Joshua Adams right underneath his spoiler. Lights are on, green flag in the air. And a great restart for Cole Begunia.
And even Adams as well is trying to work to the inside of Roper as they head off into turn 1. He's not wasting any time trying to get the spot for second.
Oh, almost some contact there for second place, but Begunia's going to have to work real hard to hang on to this now. Roper's to his inside. I think this is going to be deal over here with the fresh tires on the 1 car. Coming back to 3 laps to go, side by side for the lead. Roper sideways, battling the 7 car.
Yeah, Begunia trying to pinch Roper down, but can't really do anything. Like we said earlier, he's a sitting duck at this point. And there you see him, can't fight anything with the one of Roper. Roper's going to get around, take the lead away.
All right, now he's just got to accept that he's lost his battle. He's just going to have to hang on now. Don't get yourself into trouble. And Roper is going to be able to pull away here. 2 laps to go in race number 1 at IRP. Roper out in front of Joshua Adams and Raul Alves. Begunia's fallen to 4th.
Oh, and Hensley spinning to the inside in the grass.
He'll keep it rolling. But a poor finish to the end of race number 1 for Hensley is about to ensue. Coming back to the white flag for race number 1. White flag in the air for the 1 of Daniel Roper. Absolute domination in this first race. It wasn't without trials and tribulations. He's worked really hard to get to this point. Only leaned on a couple of drivers, and it was respectful leaning as opposed to what was going on behind him. But through turns 3 and 4, he's going to roll. And through the final corners, we'll collect the checkered flag in the first of 2 races here tonight. Lap 100 goes to Daniel Roper.
Yeah, Josh Adams will finish 2nd. Raul Alves will climb his way back to 3rd. Solid job for him, all things considered. And Cole Begunia will round out 4th and round out the drivers on the lead lap.
All right, so far, so good for that 1.
Yeah, so now everyone a lap down and still running is gonna get their laps waived. They're gonna be put back onto the lead lap, and everyone who still has a fast repair remaining and with some beat up cars, you're gonna be able to. Actually, everyone I should say has to come down pit road. You see there, everyone makes their trip down.
Yeah, mandatory stop.
Yep, mandatory stop, and also notably too, wherever these guys come out on their pit cycle, that's where they'll end up restarting. So we'll see if anyone. I don't know if they actually have to take tires or not. I do know they had to come down pit road.
I think everyone is just going to take tires here. Might as well. I think most people will. As soon as Roper is done with his pit stop here, Finn, let's see if we can drag him into the booth and have a conversation with him. Obviously, the race 1 winner here. And by far the quickest of the drivers out here tonight. Hasn't really been contested very much. They'll roll off the pit lane. We'll try to get a hold of him here in a second here. Hey, Daniel, it's Kyle from SimTV. You got a copy?
I got you.
Well, so far so good for you and really all of that high-performance team. And first 100 laps went quite smoothly other than a couple small setbacks, but you were able just to drive right around everyone as they were all fighting like monkeys behind you, running into each other. So what's your expectations for the next 100 laps here?
Not too sure. I'm hoping everything calms down. You know, I've had a bit of bad luck the last few weeks. You know, it felt like we could have won the last couple of races and just got had not the best luck and some mistakes on pit road by me. So just trying to do the best I can here in the second half on my end and hope everything else works out.
All right, well, we'll let you get back to work and good luck in race number 2.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right, so that was Daniel Roper, race 1 winner. And looks like he should be starting, looks like it'll probably be P2. Bressi is down in pit lane receiving service, but Joshua Adams is on the lead lap and is currently scored in front of the 1 car, but that might change. No.
No, he took 2 tires on paper.
Okay. So Joshua Adams will be your leader for the running order for race number 2. It's been about an hour since qualifying started, so it'll probably be about another 45 to 50 minutes. This race will be over. If it goes green, it'll even be shorter than that. But we've seen quite a bit of action tonight, and Finian, I think now in race number 2, we're going to see a little bit of payback potentially. I think you can see a few guys getting some knocks back at the guys that took them out earlier in the first race. But maybe these guys will forget about that, but I think the difference is usually you have a week to cool down and think about it, and right now we've had about 5 minutes.
Yeah, I think definitely so. And actually, notably, too, I'm looking, it looks like Bressi is still, his car is damaged. I'm actually kind of curious what's going on with him, if he used his fast repair or not.
Well, I think that car is in decent shape other than the rear end damage, so he might be able to salvage that and save it for later tonight, which wouldn't be a terrible idea, but I'd have to wonder, why not just take it now? I mean, you're running up front before.
Yeah, well, Bressi's going to also be starting in 9th. As we got 9 cars, he's going to be starting at the tail end of the field as we got 9 cars left for race number 2.
And it's going to be about a 99-lap sprint to the end here as we went 1 lap longer in caution than expected. So out of turn number 4, the 88 of Joshua Adams on pole for race number 2. Green flag flies, trying to hang on and keep away the fast number 1 car, Daniel Roper.
Yeah, that's the guy everyone's going to pretty much be battling, at least for the win tonight, is that 1 car of Roper. So Adams trying to cover his bases, make sure that Roper doesn't get ahead of him, at least on the start. Begunia gets into the wall behind him off, too.
And Roper to the outside of the 88, looks for a move, but can't quite get it done. We'll have to try the inside now through turns 1 and 2. There he goes alongside the 88. Down the back straightaway, almost contact between the leaders. But Roper might just be able to get this one away with only about 3 or 4 laps of the initial start.
You see that Roper is really one of the only drivers we've been able to see make that inside line work and be able to make some moves, but he's kind of struggling right now with Adams on these fresh tires.
Adams going to try to cross him over. Oh, wide on the rear quarter panel.
Tap on the quarter panel, yeah.
Oh my goodness. That was close there for a moment.
Yeah, it was very close action there, but Adams is going to have to settle in for 2nd place.
Oh, we'll push to the rear bumper of the 1 car here, Finian.
Yeah, I think that's a message to Roper to show that he's not done with him just yet.
Giving him a run for his money, for sure. We haven't seen anybody be able to keep up with Roper for more than a lap or 2. That might be the case here. Adams is driving really hard to try to stay on the rear bumper of this 1 car. Corey Bleeven's trying to get a new lease on life after a really rough race number 1. Tucked in 6th right now behind Tyler Hensley.
Yeah, these guys have been kind of clumped together ever since the green flag, so they've been currently battling for 4th place with Raul Alves leading them.
Well, so far this has been quite a bit calmer than race number 1, but here's Brendan Kreutz and Thomas Bressi fighting for 7th place. And you still got to wonder why Bressi didn't take... Oh, the 46 and the 25 together hard out of turn 4.
Huh, and that was almost a reverse of what happened earlier.
I wonder why that would be.
Yeah, with the 25 of Bleeven's coming up into the 46 of Hensley.
I think wasn't it the other way around?
Yeah,
it was. Hensley was the one that turned into the 25 before. And you're right, it almost was a mirror image of what happened earlier. It didn't look intentional by the 25 there, though. As soon as he got to the quarter panel, he pulled right away. So I don't know if that was... It certainly was on his mind.
Bleeven sideways in 3.
And around he goes. Kreutz hooks him around. And caution doesn't fly somehow. And there it flies. And where is the leader? They're already be about half a lap down, so they got to get rolling here soon. But Kreutz has just had an abysmal night in that number 93 car.
And he cannot catch a break. I think he's been a victim in almost every single one of these cautions. Or in the wrecks that he's been involved in.
Well, let's go back and take a look. It started with Corey Bleeven's dead sideways through the corner. And he just got all out of shape all by himself. And it looks like, well, Bressi, I think he missed him. But the 93 finally finished off the 25. Let's look on board from the 24 car.
Bressi did a fantastic job avoiding this wreck.
Yeah, he stomped on the brakes, just missed the 25 spinning and around. And I think that was the problem, was the 24 might have been shielding Kreutz from being able to see what was going on. Let's take a look from his perspective now. It's right on board the roll bar here. And drives off into the corner really hard, and oh, he saw it, just had nowhere to go. So the first caution for race number 2 has ensued.
And Roper and Elvis come out of the pits taking only 2 tires. Everyone else behind took 4.
And those are High Performance Motorsports teammates, the 1 and the 30. Jared Matthew on pit lane now. Also nursing a very damaged race car. Well, total on the night, cautions-wise, Finney, we've had 9 of them. 32 laps under yellow, 15 lead changes. It's been quite the event tonight. High tempers and a lot of action.
Yeah, a lot of action indeed, and the night is still young. We still got 80 laps, a little over 80 laps to go in this race. And nothing is over yet.
I will say, though, someone's going to have to pull something out of their gearbox if they want to go up and mess with that one car. He's just been in another zip code. I mean, his best lap, Finian, is over 3/10 faster than the next quickest guy's lap.
Yeah, and really one of the only guys, I think, out of the field, the only 2 guys that can really compete with him is the 30 behind him, which is his teammate, and the 88 of Adams.
All right, so we're going to hit lap number 120 here in a moment. There'll be 86 laps to go when we tick back around.
So I gotta ask, really, besides Roper, do you think who do you think's got a good shot at winning this race?
Well, I would say Alvis, but he's been all over the place tonight. Hasn't been very consistent. I'd say Joshua Adams is your best bet, followed closely behind by Cole Bagunia. I'd say Bagunia because he's really been the least apt to crash out of any of this group. But I think Adams is the quickest besides the one car. Alvis isn't consistent enough to pull this off, I don't think. But obviously he can still surprise me here. So we'll have a restart with 85 laps to go, and we'll turn him back loose here again in a moment. It looks like Roper's going to choose the outside lane for the restart, which is what I would have expected more of this evening. But it seems like the leaders tend to pick that inside.
Yeah, I think he's probably picking the outside, so that way his teammate can cover the inside. It's a little bit of working together here on this restart.
Green flag flies once again, and 30 switches lines right in front of the 3rd and 4th place cars. Kind of gets them messed up for a second. The 88 being very aggressive. But we have not seen a whole lot of multi-groove action here tonight, Finney. I would have expected, as the lights had come on and the sun had gone down, I would have thought we'd see more inside groove passing, but we just haven't seen that tonight.
Yeah, and again, I think it's just due to the fact we haven't really had any long green flag runs. I think longest we got was probably 15, 20 laps. So it wasn't really long enough to really get these tires worn out and be able to let these guys use multiple grooves.
Roper already out to a 7/10 of a second lead over teammate Raul Alvis. Adams, Bagunia, Bressi, 3rd, 4th, and 5th. Tyler Hensley, 6th. Brandon Kreutz in 7th. Levens, 8th. And Jared Matthew, 9th. And Anthony Frenchie back out on track 14 laps down.
Oh, and I got a penalty for the 30 of Raul Alves. He's got a penalty for changing lanes before coming across the start-finish line on the restart. So he's going to have to do a pass-through.
So a penalty for the 30 car of Raul Alves. And again, I noted that on the restart, the lane switch there. And we'll see when he comes down. He might try to fight that decision, but it's probably going to be out there. Oh, he spins on pit road entry, drifts it in. That was spectacular. Wow. I'll give him that.
Yeah, that was the best pit road entry I've seen.
Let's watch that on a replay here. Well, certainly did it in style. And he goes to service penalty. He's going to come back out. He'll still be on the lead lap here, Finian, but not by a ton. He's about a corner and a half away from Roper, who is the leader and making very, very fast work of lap-down cars, so he better get his butt moving.
You better get his butt moving and also probably hoping for a caution, but really everyone's pretty spread out at the moment.
And laps tick off here quickly, so he's not going to have a ton of time to get back up into the mess, but Kreutz and Bleeven's running nose to tail. These guys have been into each other a couple times tonight.
Bleeven's trying to make the pass on Kreutz. He's trying to hang on to that damaged car in 6th. Although he really can't do much with it with the state his car is in.
Yeah, I think Kreutz's best scenario here tonight is that he just finishes out where he is and finishes P6. I don't think he's going to get a whole lot more than that, but I will say it's better to have a car like this at a short track than any other place. So that Fame Apparel, I believe it started as a Camaro at the beginning of the night. Now it's a well and modified, I think.
Yeah, I was going to say, fun fact too, that every single driver in this field is driving a Camaro except for the Frenchie is driving a Ford.
I didn't notice that, but that is an astonishing statistic.
No loves for Toyotas.
We got that up here in the booth. That's all right. Yeah, really kind of calmed down here, Finney. I think all the anger was gotten out in the first race. We still have a battle for 6th going on, so we'll keep the cameras on that as Bleevens tries to get back around Kreutz. And potential for this to go south quickly here with both these cars handling pretty ill.
Yeah, and I mean, again, talk about how hard it is to pass and that you need to use every bit of the car you have, considering how poor these cars are probably handling right now. Just with their aero messed up with the damage that they have to it, even to handling as well, it's probably not helping either of their situations. So it's going to be hard to make a pass without getting into each other, which I'm sure is the last thing they want to have.
We continue to run here, lap number 132 of 205. Remember, we started our second race on lap 106, a 99-lap sprint to the end with full points awarded at lap 205, just like they were at lap 100. So there's a lot on the line, but Daniel Roper is 2 seconds up the road from second place Joshua Adams and making quick work in the field tonight.
Yeah, and he's pretty much a favorite for getting both these points, so he'll have 2 pretty much race wins to his name as far as points are concerned. Added to him in the points is going to be huge for him.
These guys still battling pretty hard for 6th place here. I'm not going to pull the camera away because as soon as I do, they're going to run into each other, so I'm going to keep an eye on these guys.
Yeah, this is the closest battle on the track right now.
All right, let's taking a look at our pit stop situation here, Finney. In laps since pit, we've done 18 laps for the front of the field here. So you're going to probably have to pit again, I would assume. You probably could go to the end here.
No, you're going to have to, these guys are going to have to make a pit stop. They're running 75% fuel. So they're going to have to at least pit, I would imagine, probably halfway, 50 laps into the run.
You saw the 93 get into the wall out of turn 4. The 25 got alongside. There they go. Almost contact out of turn 2, but somehow avoided collision. And
I think really this lack of banking is really not going to be helping out Bleevens. I think if this track were banked, it would definitely give them an advantage. But considering how flat it is in nature, it's just so hard to make that pass work.
And again, I think if the track had worn out or the tires get worn out, it would make this easier. But with it being so grippy, the preferred line is still the fastest way to go. And if you try to deviate from that, you'll be penalized by losing time. Oh, Kreutz scrapes the wall again. We've seen lots of sparks flying off the cars tonight. Didn't start too late into the race. Even 5 laps in, guys were bouncing off the walls, and 139 laps in, they continue to do so, but you got to find that extra little bit of speed, Finney, and sometimes it's about an inch off the wall, and with bodywork dangling like it is from the 93, it's very easy to scrape.
Yeah, really, yeah, that is just due to the fact that the racing line is pretty much right up against the wall in some places, so these guys, when you push, some of these guys might be pushing a little bit too far over the edge, and by doing so, you're going to end up tapping the wall just a little bit, and some have tapped it a little bit more than others.
Kreutz and Bleven side by side out of turn 4, almost contact again, but I think Kreutz put that inside lane just so the 25 could get around him there. He raced him pretty hard into the corner, but I think that was just giving him the spot because he knew who was holding him up. So Blevens will move into the 6th spot here. 65 laps to go. Out up front, though, it's the same story. Daniel Roper up the road 2.5 seconds from Joshua Adams. That's how race 1 finished. And it looks like that's how race 2 might end as well if it continues on this path. Contact! Ooh. And the one car spins sideways in one and somehow collects it. It doesn't even hit the wall. I've never seen anything like that before.
That was an impressive piece of driving.
I'm sure there'll be a...
I've ever seen anything.
I'm sure there'll be the one-finger salute to the 27 for that. But let's go back and take a look at what happened here. Oh, man. Absolutely phenomenal driving out of the one car, and we've come to expect that out of Roper, but watch his hands here. Opposite lock all the way, doesn't even scrape the wall. Unbelievable driving by Roper. And continues to lead, and last time by ran quicker than Joshua Adams still. So he didn't even get knocked off his pedestal, lost a little bit of ground, but is beginning to gain it back, and that didn't even faze him.
Yeah, again, this is impressive. It just shows you why he has 7,000 iRating to make a save like that.
7,437.
Over 7,000. Honestly, at that point, it doesn't even matter in the hundreds.
Yeah, I was looking at the, there was a practice race for the iRacing Grand Prix World Championship Series. And Maximilian Benekit, or whatever his name is, 10,470 something.
Whew.
Yeah, that's pretty nuts. And Roper is, I mean, that just put that. I know it's different oval versus road, but to put that in perspective, in my oval rating, you need to add my oval rating to Daniel's to even get close to that. So that's pretty wild. But obviously, within league racing, the iRating doesn't mean a whole lot here tonight, but it really kind of does. If you look at your top 4 drivers, they're all over 3,000. And the only driver that is over 3,000 that is not inside the top 5 is Raul Alves. Obviously had that penalty earlier for changing lanes prior to the restart. Currently riding in 8th, and could be in danger of going a lap down here shortly. If you look out the rear gearbox, way in the distance, you can see Daniel Roper trying to chase him back down.
Yeah, and also, too, looking up ahead from Alves, it looks like he's been catching Brandon Kreutz, so Kreutz in danger of falling back into 8th place if Alves catches him if we go green the rest of the way.
It is very refreshing to have the onboard graphic show the correct miles per hour instead of showing 237. That's very nice. Oh, Roper sideways again! And avoids the wall once again, but that was a full-on slide there for a moment, so he has lost the handling in that car, it looks like.
Yeah, I'm sure the first time he slid like that, it definitely didn't help out his tires as far as the heat in them, and it's probably only going to get worse from here on out.
And Adams has been quite consistent behind and is taking advantage of Roper's slip-up. So we still have 55 laps to go here, Finian. So this is not out of the question for Adams to come chase Roper back down. We still have a pit stop sequence to go through, but if Roper continues to slide that car around, it's not going to be helpful for him. Oh, when he gets into the wall out of turn 2, I saw some sparks fly off that car.
Oh, I also did just a quick little check with Roper's high iRating. He's currently listed 34th
In the world?
In the world for Oval.
That is pretty phenomenal.
So we have a driver in the top 50, which is the top 0.00 something. I don't know what the exact percentage is, but it's extremely small. And he's showing his talent out tonight.
Yeah, and obviously fixed setups here tonight, so all the advantages that you're seeing him get over the rest of these drivers, completely skill-based. I mean, there's no setup trickery, and a lot of these people think that, you know, if you got 7K iRating and you run open iRacing, whatever, that you got to be using the camber setup hacks to be quick. Well, that's clearly not the case here tonight, because Roper's driving away. Even after sliding that thing around, he's gotten it focused in the right direction and continues to lead. But I will say, Adams is putting up a heck of a fight.
Yeah, Adams trying to give it his all. I mean, worst case scenario for him, he gets another second place finish, but I'm sure he definitely wants that win next to his name.
And what's the point situation between Roper and Adams? How far are they separated?
Before this race, they were separated by, I want to say, 21 points.
And was that to Roper's advantage?
Yes.
So he'll just continue to extend his lead here and almost be a full... He'll probably be, well, close to a full race ahead of Joshua Adams if you consider the number of starters we usually get for these races. That is well over a race ahead.
Yeah, and looking at the point standings, again, Roper is only 5 points behind Nick Massey, who is leading the points coming into this race, but is not here. Bressi was 2 points behind him, but Bressi finished 5th in race number 1, so Roper's gonna, as a run already, after completing that first race, Roper's gonna be leading the points.
So obviously missing races, not great for your championship lead. So obviously we're missing Massey tonight, Casey Shu, another one that's not here. That he mentioned in the chat that it's been a tough scheduled holiday for him, so we hope that Casey will make it back next week. But Daniel Roper up 2.4 seconds, continues to lead, closing in on lap number 160. And it'll be 45 laps to go, so they're taking off quite quick. The first half of this event tonight, the first 100 laps, was a bloodbath, but it's been quite clean in the second half.
Yeah, indeed. I think that that's just due to how many cars got damage to them. And as we say, it's been clean, cautions out, and it's a 93 Brandon Kreutz.
Oh man, from bad to worse to even worse than that. Pulls it off the wall.
What on earth happened? He got hit by the 30 of Raul Alves. That was the weirdest wreck I've seen.
Oh, wow. Wow. Didn't these guys have issues before? Or was... Who did the 30 car get into before? I thought it was... I thought it was the 93, but... Yeah, the 30 car...
got damaged from the 93. But that was way early on in the race, and that was really only a tap.
Completely lost control, just got up and just took out the 93. I mean, obviously didn't look... I mean, if that was intentional, it was very highly skilled. But it looked like he was just completely out of control there.
Yeah, I think it was just him trying to make the pass on the 27, and I think he went into the turn a little bit too hot, but man... I said it earlier, I said it again, this 93 cannot catch a break.
I mean, he's been run into by basically everyone on the track tonight. I got a feel for him. Man, what a night it's been for Brandon Kreutz, and I wonder what's going to be the straw that breaks the camel's back tonight. He's still running. Rest of the field on pit lane.
Yeah, we'll see if anyone does any strategy calls, and no, looks like it's par for the course, with everyone taking 4 tires.
So Alves stays out and comes back down now, so he'll be restarting behind all the guys that just took tires. Well, now we should be good to the end here, Finney. About 45 laps to go. That's plenty of fuel in the tanks for these cars, and that leaves Adams really to be the sole driver to try to take down the dominant car of the night, the one of Daniel Roper. Now, does he have the talent in that behind the wheel of that car to go up there and race the one? I would say he does, but he's got to have to find a little bit more pace and maybe push the one car into making some of those slides and mistakes he made earlier.
Yeah, he's got to find something. I mean, Roper has just been putting on an absolute clinic tonight. And, again, he's got to have to find something, maybe somewhere that he can beat Roper. But Roper has had pretty much had all his bases covered since the drop of the green flag, and just been almost no way around him.
All right, we're going to take a quick break just to catch a breath real quick. We'll be right back with the restart, lap 164. Coming back to the restart here, lap number 165. Daniel Roper's been in control of both races tonight. We stopped race 1 at lap 100. Paid out full points. Going to do it again for the second 100 laps. Coming back to the green flag. With just over 40 laps to go, green flag flies and Roper takes off.
And Begunia trying to take advantage. You've seen him. He's been one of the only guys really being up to the yellow line to the inside. But is going to lose 2 positions on the start to Adams and Bressi.
The restarts have not been Begunia's strong suit tonight. He's fallen back quite a bit, but as soon as he gets that car fired in the right direction, he picks those spots right back, and Bressi has himself back. Oh, crashing behind him! Huge crash! Oh my goodness, Hensley up on his roof in turn 1. Massive collision, several cars involved, but Hensley got the worst of it. The 2-car Cody Tabor, who had just come back out on the racetrack, completely destroyed. And that is a heck of a crash here, Finian.
Yeah, indeed, and it looks like the 46 and the 30 just kind of ran into each other on the straightaway.
Oh,
Hensley
the 2-car.
down a bit.
What happened to Cody Tabor?
Yeah, I'm kind of curious what happened to him, indeed. Almost looks like he aimed for the 46.
Man, up a wild ride up into the fencing for Tyler Hensley, but the 27's gotten a great view of a lot of incidents tonight. Let's take a ride on board with them for this one as well. This might have started in turns 3 and 4 with the 30 and the 46. We'll go back and take another look at that in a moment, but here's Jared Matthews' view. Holy cow. And he got a big piece of that as well. All right, well, let's go back and take another look at what happened in turns 3 and 4 with Hensley and Alvis. So let's take a look here and see if there's any prior collision. Maybe not.
No, yeah, it looked like they just kind of... It looks like Hensley came down on the straightaway while Alvis thought he was going to be a little bit higher, and they just met. And unfortunately, that caused that violent crash.
A horrific crash indeed. And let's take a look at it in slow-mo here. And this is from the turn 2 camera, so you can see all this action in slow motion. This is the only static shot we have of it. And wow, look at that 46 car climb that fence, barrel roll up over the top of Cody Tabor, all along the catch fence, just shredding parts and pieces, comes to rest on its tires after taking a ride on the nose of Jared Matthews' number 27 machine, but a horrible collision involving about 4 to 5 race cars.
Yeah, it's going to be a retirement for the 46 of Hensley.
I would hope so. I mean, he's got to go get checked out by somebody.
He will end the night in 9th place, so disappointing for that 46 car. Now, we were talking, too, about Bressi making some moves, and I pretty much figured out why he's been making moves all of a sudden, and if you just want to look at that car.
Oh, yeah, there it is. Took his fast repair, and I will mention a great time to do so here, Finian, with just over 35 laps to go.
Yeah, I think it was kind of lucky that last caution came out because he was able to get the chance to take that fast repair, and now he definitely took advantage of that. And he's now sitting in third with a brand new race car.
And let's talk to him. If you want to go grab him real quick, we'll interview him before the restart. Hey, Thomas Bressi, it's Kyle from SimTV. You got a copy?
I do got a copy. How are you guys doing?
Well, we're doing great up here. It's been quite an action-packed night. Obviously, if race 1 didn't go great for you, got quite a bit of damage, but you just taken your fast repair. That car's looking real good, and you got 35 laps to go. What's your plan for the next couple of laps?
I don't know, man. You're right. That first race did not go too good. I was trying to just make it through there. I was trying to save the fast repair. So, and the motor kept trying to blow up. I was up at like 265 at one point, so I had to keep putting the clutch in just to cool it down. But I don't know. Some people, there's a couple people who are not using their heads up here that, you know, might. Oh, that's gonna get interesting, I guess.
All right. Well, keep it clean, keep it safe, and good luck out there. We'll see you at the end.
That's all I can do. Enjoy it.
All right. There's Thomas Bressi, currently third on the order right now. And we'll head back up to the front of the field, and it looks like Roper and Adams will line up side by side again. Adams with the outside lane. If he can match the restart pace of Roper, he might be able to steal a spot from Roper here, but it's going to be a tough task. Out of turn 4, 34 laps to go. Roper absolutely blazes away. Pulls up to that outside lane and runs off.
Yeah, and I think even Bressi might get ahead of Adams as they come out of turn 2. Adams with the run on the back straightaway.
Side by side for second, and these guys can't fight for too long between each other because they have to focus on the greater good up in front of them. But Bagunia really pushing the 88, and looks like Adams is going to get clear and maintain his second place positioning. Bagunia's going to get around Bressi, and Bressi stuck that inside groove. Look at Alvis' 30 car, completely destroyed. Corey Bleeven's behind him, and this could be a trouble spot back here for me, and I think these guys have had to run in tonight a couple times.
Yeah, indeed, but the 30 of Alva is trying to work to the inside, trying to get a run back up to these guys ahead of him, but I think his car is just too damaged to keep up pace with the top 4 drivers.
So already a 7/10 of a second lead for Roper, back to Adams. And closing on 30 laps to go. When we hit 20 to go, the ticker will start counting down the laps from 20, and at the end of that 20 laps, we'll award another set of championship points, another full race here tonight, double points on the menu, and so far, Deanna Roper's been the only one eaten. That was a good analogy.
That was pretty good, I'll give you any plus for that.
Thank you, I tried.
But yeah, Roper has been the class of the field. Everyone's been chasing him down, and has had pretty much nothing to worry about for the most part. It has only really had to pass 1 or 2 cars up for the front of the for the lead. And is ever since nearly after 5 laps after the drop of a green flag, he's gone from the rest of the field.
Levens and Alvis still close together out of 3 and 4. And the tempers have been running high. There's been a lot of issues centered around the 30 and the 25. Now, I'm not placing blame on either of those 2 cars, but certainly they've been the common denominator in being involved in a lot of incidents. And wow, the 25 pulls right in behind the 30, off into turn number 3. You're keeping an eye on these 2. They're side by side out of 3 and 4.
Yeah, and you can see that Bleeman's struggling to make the pass, similar to what he was trying when he was trying to make the pass on Brandon Krutz earlier in the race. So just going to try, and I think honestly it might come down to these guys getting a little bit physical, especially under 30 laps to go.
Roper has pulled out to a 1-second lead over Josh Adams, who's really only about a 10th slower each lap, but that stuff adds up lap after lap and continues to lose ground here with less than 30 laps to go. Now about 25 out of turn 2. The 25 and the 30 almost made contact again, but avoiding it by inches.
These guys are pretty much the first of the cars with damage to them. The top 4, pretty much their car is unscathed. If anything, it's minor.
I will tell you that Brandon Krutz better be looking for cover here, though, because he's following 2 cars that don't look too great. And if we know anything about Krutz's night, looks like he's been involved in pretty much every collision that he has not been not started. So hopefully he can get through these guys without too much issue.
Yeah, and actually he's catching these guys up ahead, so we might have a 3-way battle for 5th.
Looking from high above, and I'm just telling you, Cruz, you might want to back out of this one, buddy. You might want to let this settle out. And out of turn 2, contact. The 25 slips. Here comes the 93 to the outside. Takes that spot away up to 6 for the number 93 car. And it looks like he'll complete that pass on Blevins and set his sight on Elvis in the 30.
Yeah, if I was Brandon, I would honestly be a half a lap away from these guys.
Get as far away as you can.
Yeah. But it looks like he was able to get around Blevins in the 25 for 6th place, and is going to have to try to set his sights down to Alves. Yeah. But I think Alves actually might be able to pull away.
Yeah, we're not done with this battle for 6th here. Blevins is still putting the fight to the 93 of Cruz. And up front, Adams has been matching Roper's lap times, but just hasn't been able to get into the negative, so he's still stuck about 1.1 seconds back. But we have seen Roper lose several tenths at a time late in the going here, so it's not over yet as we close in on 20 to go.
And it looks like Bressi's kind of closed in the gap on Cole Begunia, so he's going to potentially try to make a look here for 3rd place. Got his car repaired after a long time of racing that damaged car. It's amazing he held on to it as long as he did. Is now trying to move up into the top 3.
Corey Blevins has gotten back around Brandon Kreutz, but Brandon Kreutz is a lap down. And didn't see that before. So Kreutz has still got a little ways to fight before he can be back in this thing. But you mentioned the battle for 3rd, Finian, heating up. Begunia way up the racetrack. He's kept his car so clean for so long, trying to fight off the 24 of Bressi.
And interesting, too, that Bressi is running just half a lane lower than Begunia, trying to get the air to his spoiler. Get that downforce for what little it is to get these things to rotate, because because they have very little to work with the banking, being pretty much close to none, only 12 degrees.
And watching from on board, Cole Begunia's rear bumper, 20 laps to go here at Lucas Oil Raceway. It's been about 185 laps of hard-fought battles between what started as 11 cars, but Finian, I think everyone's been into everyone here tonight. You saw Tyler Hensley coming back off of pit road with a repaired race car, so we got to keep an eye on that 46 because there might be an issue there with a couple cars out there. But as we close in on the end of this race, Roper has had absolutely no competition in the late stages.
Yeah, pretty much no one could touch him with a 10-foot pole, so I mean as long as nothing else happens, he should be walking here away with the win in race number 2.
And get a 2 times max points night tonight as well. That's like getting double RP, man. That's pretty insane for his night tonight. Ooh, 7 scrapes the wall just ahead of Bressi. Bressi turns down to the inside, tries to get the run, but can't quite stick the throttle down or else he would have gotten into the side of Begunia.
Kind of curious if Bressi's going to wait till the last few laps to make the move. No, but looks like he's going to try to do it now all the way to the yellow line, trying to get as much of a run as he can.
Now they both have to pass the lap down 27 car of Jared Matthew, but Bressi still can't get alongside. Alvis and Blevins are closing in on each other again for 5th and 6th. We'll close in on that battle when they get there. Now looks like we'll have 15 laps to go for the leaders. Roper up 1.6 seconds. Joshua Adams, Cole Begunia, Bressi, and Alvis, your top 5.
Actually, and speaking of Alvis in the top 5, looks like Corey Blevins is catching him. So we might have another battle for 5th place.
I think our battle for 3rd is still the hottest one on the racetrack here. And with the tires beginning to fade here in the late stages, this could get messy.
Indeed, and especially with guys probably running out of some patience here and wanting those spots. You see, ooh, Begunia loose in 3 and 4.
And here comes Bressi, tries to get to the inside, gets there, contact between the two. Bressi to the inside, violent contact out of turn 4, trying to make it work. Side by side through turns 1 and 2. And tries not to lean on him on the exit of the corner, has to turn hard left to miss him. And Bressi's trying to do this the right way, but man, it's frustrating.
Yeah, Begunia actually tapped the wall out of 2, so got a little bit of damage to his car. But yeah, Bressi's still going to have to try again, but he's running out of time now as we're approaching 10 laps to go.
I think the patience is going to begin to wear off for Bressi. And he definitely didn't mean to lean the bumper on him out of turn 4 last time, but certainly that's an option as the laps wind down. And Bressi slips up the racetrack there a little bit, tries to rotate it back down on exit. Man, those Camaros look good.
Yes, they do. Good thing we got a lot of them tonight.
Yeah. And see them up close and personal from those bumper cams. Let me tell you. You can see the eyes inside the cockpit of Bressi's machine. All the focus, trying to get that car rotated. We haven't heard a lot of shifting in the race, Finian, so I was surprised by that. Actually, go ahead.
I actually just heard Bressi shift the gear in turn 2.
Let's ride on board. Let's hear him.
Didn't do it that time, too, but the lap before he did. So he's definitely playing and experimenting with some different strategies, trying to find a way around Begunias.
Oh.
Begunias loose in 3 and 4, up to the wall.
There's a downshift. Tries to get the power down. Got to watch the wheel spin. Here comes Bressi for third.
This is the best shot he's had all night. Or sorry, in this last run to trying to get around Cole Begunia.
He's going to be alongside Finian, but that run from the outside lane is going to be strong. Side by side off into turn 3. 8 laps to go. Coming to 7. Contact between the two. The 7 slips up. Can he try to cross him over in turn 4?
No, I don't think he can. I think this is going to be Bressi's position, and he's going to hold on to third. So Bressi into third, Begunia back to fourth.
Going to quickly take a look at that contact between the two from another camera angle. And yeah, the 7 wanted to turn in, but the 24 did not allow him to, so a little bit of argy-bargy there, but it's about time that the 24 used some force there after fighting so clean for so long. Meanwhile, 5 laps to go for the leaders. You see Begunia bounce off the wall as Alvis and Blevins are beginning to fight nose to tail now as well.
Yeah, their battle's starting to heat up in these closing laps. Do any of them try to lean on each other with both of their cars completely torn? I think they're going to have to at this point.
Yeah, it's battle for the top 5 position. And Blevins might have enough time to get there. Here he comes alongside. Does he lay the bumper? Almost. Runs right on the quarter panel, side by side. Doesn't quite lean on him enough. And they're running out of time.
Yeah, I think he's really going to have to get physical. I just don't see any way of Blevins getting around with the car in the stadiums. There you see a little bit of a tap to the quarter panel as they're going to be drag race down into turn 3.
He's entering low, though. He's not going to be able to get that car rotated around. He's going to try again. Coming to 4 to go for these guys now. See Tyler Hensley in the background, somehow back out on track after a violent flipping accident a couple minutes ago. But here comes Blevins back to the inside. He wants this spot bad here, Finney. I think he's going to get it. It's just a matter of when he officially leans on the 30 enough to get that spot away. 3 laps to go for the leader, Daniel Roper.
Blevins is able to get a good rotate mid-corner. They're going to be side by side out of 4 racing down to turn 1.
And they're side by side, still trying to lean on each other. 2 laps to go for Daniel Roper as the 5th and 6th place cars battle for position still. It's been a bloodbath of a night. 11 cautions for 42 laps, 17 lead changes. It's been a hell of a night. Blevins and Alvis still side by side. Will there be a bumper left here? Contact side by side between the two 5th and 6th place cars here. White flag in the air for the leader as the 25 slips up. Will he get into the 30? Battle for 5th is heating up. One more time around for these guys. Alvis clears himself, but behind Daniel Roper, absolute dominance, sliding sideways in turns 3 and 4, comes out of the final corner and will sweep both races here tonight and collects the checkered flag in race number 7 this season. Meanwhile, behind him, Blevins and Alvis. Blevins crash out of turn 2. And Alvis as well.
Oh, and they got into each other.
Oh, they certainly did. And we're not done here yet, folks. And across the line, Corey Blevins will be scored in 5th. Alvis will collect 6th. Will there be discussions had? Doesn't look like it.
No, it doesn't. Yeah, it doesn't look like indeed.
We'll go back and take a look at that in a couple moments, but Daniel Roper, an absolutely dominant night. 1 pole, had a couple issues in that first race, but race number 2 was all that number 1 car.
Yeah, I mean, again, just what can you not say about his performance tonight? Did pretty much everything perfect. I don't think made one single mistake other than getting loose one time. And then he even saved it too. So yeah, he has done everything he needed to do right. And it's the reason he's going to be walking out of here with max points in not one, but two races.
All right, well, let's go back and take a look at what happened on that last lap with Blevins and Alvis. Obviously, there was quite the scenario. And I believe this is when we were saying that they're going to lay the bumpers. I'm certain that's what happened here. Here comes Blevins to the inside of the 30 out of turn number 2. And I think he just committed to the throttle and just had to get into... He had to do something. And just turned the 30 around and took that spot away. So I think there'll be some discussions about that. But race over, race complete here, Finian. What a race it was.
Yeah, indeed. It's been pretty action-packed in both races for several different positions. And it's been an excellent race to watch.
All right, there is your race results. In a moment here, we will jump down to Discord and find Roper, Adams, and Bressi, and maybe another driver to talk to us about how this race went tonight. We'll be back in a couple moments with interviews. Stay with us. Welcome back live here to SimTV. We're here with your race winner, the driver of the #1 car, Daniel. I cannot say enough about how dominant you were tonight as a whole. Not only in race 1, but race 2 was an exceptional performance by you and that team. But just walk us through just running away and keeping Joshua Adams behind you.
Yeah, just overall really good night for me. It's the first night I've really put pit road together, which I was happy. I've been choking on that every single week, even in Bristol that I won. So I was really happy just to have a clean race on pit road. And I think it just kind of showed if I can keep myself out front that, no one really had anything there at the end for me.
Well, looking forward, obviously this was a great night for you points-wise. I'm pretty sure you just maxed out everything, double RP, got the whole, kill streak, all the whatever you want to call it. But heading forward, you're now going to be the points leader because Nick Massey didn't show tonight. So looking forward on the schedule, you're in good place. What are you looking forward to for the rest of the season?
Really looking forward to the Roval, honestly. I'm looking forward to that more than anything. I have a road racing background. I raced Formula 3 in England for a season. A lot of go-kart experience in the United States for years, so that's definitely more of a comfort zone for me than the ovals are, so I'm looking forward to that. Won't be at Kansas next week, unfortunately, but should be back for the rest of the schedule.
Oh, I think that racing experience explains a lot. Obviously, quite the talent out there, Daniel, but thanks for talking to us. Congrats on the win, and we'll see you in a couple of weeks.
Thanks. Have a good one, guys. Appreciate it.
You too. All right, well, that explains a lot there. Finian wasn't aware he was a Formula 3 driver, but that solves a lot of issues. Anyway, actually, while you're dragging up Josh Adams, why don't you go check his road eye rating? I'm curious about that.
I have checked it.
All right. What is it, by the way?
4,300.
Well, there you go. All right, now we got Josh Adams up here in the booth with us. Finished second in both races. A good night for you, Josh, but just one spot short in both events. Walk us through if there's anything you could have done differently, or are you happy with second?
I don't think there's anything I could have done differently to beat the one. I think there's maybe some things that I could have done differently just to be better, but I think he was better than everybody else tonight. But second place, I'll definitely take it because I've been running like crap this season, and to get 2 of those, I'll take it.
A little bit of a bloodbath in race number 1, but race number 2 was a little bit calmer. Why do you think that was? I mean, the track gripped up. I would have thought we would have seen a little bit more side-by-side action later in the going, but the majority of the incidents happened in the first 100 laps.
Yeah, I think this is just one of those tracks that we don't get to race on a whole lot. I think everybody was just, you know, maybe a little bit too aggressive in race 1, and like you said, it gripped up, and people kind of knew what they were doing in race 2, but you kind of expected at a track like that where it's one group.
All right, obviously a good night for you, Josh. Next week we're looking forward to Kansas Speedway, I believe. How do you like your chances out there?
It's usually one of my better tracks, so we'll see. Got to try and get back on track here.
All right, well, thanks for talking to us, Josh. We'll see you next week.
Thank you.
And last but not least for tonight, we'll talk to the driver of the number 24, Thomas Bressi. Wow. All right. Well, we talked to you, I believe, after one of the cautions in that race, and quite the event tonight. Lots of action, lots of angry folks out there, but managed to pull away a third in race number 2 after getting that car repaired. So walk us through that.
Yeah, that was a pretty hectic night. Had that contact with Josh there pretty early in the race, and I'm not mad at him. Well, I mean, I was frustrated at the time, but you know, he owned it. He knew he made a mistake, so and got the car fixed. So it is what it is. But you know, I'm just happy I finished, honestly, because I thought it could have been really, really bad. I was trying to save that fast repair. Unfortunately, it kind of worked out at the end. I was really frustrated that I didn't get a chance to get up there and race the 1. I don't know if anybody really had anything for him on speed for certain reasons, which I think are obvious to some and potentially not to those that are oblivious, but whatever. So I definitely would have been able to race him for it. Not necessarily would have been the cleanest thing in the world, but I didn't get race cleaned by certain people tonight. So I had fun though for our first. I think that's again the first time that we've done a like kind of double header like this. I had a lot of fun. I'm not a huge fan of Lucas Oil, but you know, we got through it. I think I finished 5th in the first race, and I'll take 3rd for the second. So not too bad, but what can you do?
All right, Thomas. Well, congrats on a podium finish for you. We'll see you next week at Kansas. Thanks for talking to us.
Yep. See you next week, guys.
All right. So with that, that'll conclude our interviews for this evening. Finian, a bloodbath at the beginning. Got it cleaned up for race number 2, but Tanner Roper just absolutely killing it out there and on pace on the short tracks.
Yeah, I mean, really, no one had anything for him tonight. It was pretty much his race to lose all night long, really. And yeah, the only other guy we saw had a shot was Joshua Adams, but just didn't have enough pace for Roper.
Well, the next couple days, we got a couple more streams coming up for you. Tomorrow night, Virtual Racing League takes on Texas. Tomorrow night, 10 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time. It's going to be a big field and a great race. Return to a slippery 1.5-mile racetrack tomorrow, and then another 1.5 mile on Sunday at Chicagoland Speedway for the SCAR's Winter Stock Car Series. We're off on Monday, and Tuesday we have a new group with us. The Track Midwest Cup Series, racing the Porsche 911 Cup car at 8:40 p.m. Eastern Time at Virginia International Raceway, and they promise to have quite the field size there as well. So looking forward to the next couple days. We'll see you then. Thanks for watching, and have a great night.